Hi guys, thanks so much for tuning into this video. I am Jaytheo, and if you are new here, welcome. And if you're not new, welcome back. So today's video will be the launch of my new video series called Gay Reddit Reads, where I pull advice questions from different gay subreddits and I offer my take on that advice. And I look to you guys also in the comments, also add to the discussion, also add your takes on the advice. I feel like what better way to build community here for the gay community than to already pull questions that people in our community are already asking for. And at the end of the day, I am not a therapist. I am not licensed at all when it comes to like clinical or psychological therapy, but I definitely think there's value in conversation. I definitely feel like there's value in sharing advice, sharing shared experiences, and also generating discussion on what people need when it comes to our community. So for today's theme of post, it will be focused on coming out. So I think this is a great way to start this series, is talking about coming out, as I know that's something we all typically as a gay person have either gone through or still considering going through, or if we feel like that's not for us, it's still something that I feel like is very near and dear to the gay community and to the gay journey. So our first post comes from the Ask Gay Bros subreddit. So it's titled, I Regret Coming Out. I'm 17, I came out about 3 months ago. My friends have been fine with it. My family already knew and are okay with it, as I had a boyfriend for a few years, so I'm lucky and probably should be grateful. However, at football, it's a different story. Since coming out, the team has treated me differently. They stopped passing to me in matches, and most of them have frozen me out. I used to be a starter, but our manager had to put me on the bench because they refused to pass in games. We have a game tomorrow. It's a long travel, so the manager sent out his starting team with the subs he'll probably use. This is so to not waste the time of players who won't play. I'm totally out of the squad. 3 months ago, I started every game, and not to brag, but I'm probably our team's best player. Now I'm not even a bench option. Our captain texted me saying that's ridiculous. He said travel, and he'll try sorting it out. The thing is, he and I play well together, but we're never really that friendly, so I don't know if he's messing with me. I just feel like shit and regret coming out. I probably should have waited until I was in college. My mom and boyfriend think I should give up on the team. My dad said to sit on the bench and don't give in, smile when they win, and laugh when they lose. I don't know what to do. Okay, so first off, I want to commend this guy for coming out to his family, coming out to his friends, and having the courage to do that at such a young age. As someone who came out in high school, I know how difficult that is to even just come out at that age and to feel safe to be able to do that. And even be open to the idea that people may not understand it and that it may have its ups and downs. So I just want to first off say super win to him, and very courageous of him to come out at his age in high school. And I think that's great that he has a support system that he does from his family and his friends. I think for a lot of people, it typically is the family and the friends is the hardest pill to swallow. So I think that's amazing. I will say when it comes to the football team, I think it's just very unfortunate that you are the best player and they literally are risking wins and the success of the team based on your life and based on something that you cannot change. And I understand that people are still young, but I just think that's just really odd. And I think that's why I just think isms are just always so costly, because I feel like they always affect things on a greater scale. Like you literally are the star player and they literally are choosing not to pass to you and include you in the team just because you're gay. I just think that's wild, and they're literally gonna risk their own success with the team. I probably would need a little bit more information to give like really solid advice here, because at the end of the day, I don't know how important football is to you, but the way you talk about it doesn't seem like something that you are utilizing to get like a scholarship to college, or something that you really are utilizing as far as like really getting you out of your current situation. It seems like your family is supportive. So I think it just really depends on like your love for football. But at the end of the day, if you're not going to get to enjoy it, you're not going to be able to get to play in the games, you're not going to get to really utilize your skill set. Pretty much agree with your mom and your boyfriend. I think it may be time to drop the team. I don't know if there are recreational options in your school or in your town. You can recreationally play football. I think that could be an option if you want to still play, but you won't be linked to your high school. If there's other sports at your school that maybe you might be good at, that may be more open to the idea of somebody queer being on the team, I think that's something also to consider. I think your mental health is key, and I think if you're constantly going to these games or right before you travel out to these games, you're being told you're not even going to be able to play, you're not going to have any access to even utilize your skill set. I think that ultimately that's a waste of your time, and I just don't think that's something that you should put yourself through at such a young age. I think there's so many other things that you could be pouring into if you're not going to be playing football, whether it's another sport or whether it's something else that you have interest in. I think it's time to pivot. And I do think coming out in general is something that we all have to consider the consequences for. When I originally made my video where I spoke to my coming out journey, which I'll add the link so you guys can check that out. When I talked about coming out in that video, I did speak about how there are consequences to coming out, and only you can anticipate those consequences so much. To the OP's comment of maybe you should have waited to college, sometimes maybe it is better to wait to college, for certain things. If you feel like you live in a place and you live in a town where people are not as accepting and it can really affect things and hobbies and other interests or recreational things that you do, or just sometimes it can affect people's money, it can affect people's finances, it can affect whether they have a place to stay. I think those are some of the aspects that you have to weigh when you're coming out. Now, obviously, if your friends and family were really okay with it, I don't know how you could have anticipated this. I don't know if the football team is known for saying like slurs, if they're known for being homophobic, but at the end of the day, what's done is done, and I think you would now have the information that your team is homophobic, they're not supportive, and these people aren't honestly not your real friends. So I feel like now that you got the gift of that information, now it's like, what do you do with it? And I think what do you do with it is I'm more on par with your mom or your boyfriend, and really taking a step back to step away from the team and really be able to pour your energy into something, into a community, into a group that really will want to see you shine and pour into your skill set and want to see you thrive. I feel like that is what's important at that age of being so young. And I don't want to see you constantly getting passed up, not being able to use your skill set to really, really affect your mental health to where you could become depressed and even more anxious, and where it could cause way more intense problems for you. So that's my thoughts, guys. Please let me know in the comments what you think. What advice would you give him? Do you agree with the mom and the boyfriend of stepping away from the team and quitting the team? Do you think there are other options he should look into before doing that? Do you guys think he should listen to his dad and just stay on the team and laugh when they lose? I mean, I feel like that could be like a waste of time. Or do you think there's another step in there that he can go with to really make himself happy when it comes to football, when it comes to the aftermath of him coming out? Okay, so next up is from the Ask Gay Black Men Reddit thread. And the title is, "Hey everyone, I need advice on a family issue. Hey everyone, I'm new here and could really use some advice on how to handle a situation with my mom. This morning, I was on the phone with my Christian mother and she said something that really hurt my feelings. For context, I'm a gay man who grew up in a Christian household. I came out a couple years ago, and while my family hasn't fully accepted it, I haven't felt directly mistreated, just more so that they don't agree with my lifestyle. I try not to let that affect me too much. But today, my mom says she doesn't want a gay person doing her hair because she doesn't want the demons to touch her. She said that to me, her gay son. And honestly, it really hurt. It made me question how she really feels about me and other queer people. I told her that what she said was terrible, and she immediately tried to defend herself. But I was already pretty upset. Am I overthinking this, or are my feelings valid? I really appreciate any advice on how to handle this moving forward." So as someone who grew up in a Christian household, I definitely can relate to this. I definitely have moments where I feel like my family would say things that would really make me question how they feel about queer people and gay people as a whole. I'll never forget when I first came out, I remember my sister saying how disgusting it was. And I remember one of my aunts looked up gay porn and was just talking about how could I want to have sex like that or whatever. Just really picking it apart, really focusing a little bit too much on the sexual part of it actually, but just talking about how disgusting it is and things like that. So I definitely can relate to this. I think at the end of the day, when it comes to Christian households, they're still gonna say things that still tailor to that Christian faith when it comes to the gay community. From my experience, the only cure for that was time. Honestly, it took time for my family to see what they were saying or what they were doing or what they thought was wrong. It took time for them to see me live this lifestyle and live a happier life and live a joyous life when it comes to my sexuality and what I'm attracted to stop with all the comments and things like that. I think it took them to kind of see me in my humanity over the years for them to kind of taper down on that. I also did have a conversation with my family where I was very much this is who I am. You disrespect that, you disrespecting who I am. So I think there are conversations you can have with your mom. I mean, I know she became very defensive, but at the end of the day, over time, over the years that she continues to do this, you can continuously let her know that it hurts you, that it bothers you. And at the end of the day, her saying these things and her doing these things could affect y'all relationship. It could affect how you look at her from a character perspective. It could affect how much time you choose to spend with her. Because at the end of the day, And I'm not a big component on complete no contact and things, but I do believe that our presence is a gift. And that's one thing Dan Savage, one of my favorite podcasters, always says. Your presence is a gift to your family. So if your mom wants to say these derogatory things, or she wants to say the demons are going to touch her because somebody decides to do her hair that's a gay guy who I'm pretty sure he slays when he does hair. We all know gay men, when they do hair, it's everything. So I just want to say, girl, so you're literally probably not getting your hair done the way you want because you want to be homophobic, but nonetheless, at the end of the day, you can let her know how much that bothers you and how horrible that is. And at the end of the day, if she continues to say things like that, you can let her know that I'm not going to be putting myself around that. Or you say that and I'm on the phone with you, you're going to get hung up on. I'm going to hang up the phone. Because I think when you show people that you're not going to allow them to feel comfortable in their bigotry, that you're not going to allow them to feel comfortable in their homophobia, that you're not going to tolerate that, I think then it puts pressure on them to change. I do think people do take time, but I feel like when you let your mom know, hey, I'm not going to let you talk about gay people like that in my presence, I'm going to dip, I'm going to hang up the phone, I'm about to get off this call, I think that then will pressure her to think about what she does. And I feel like it will speed up the potential change in her. That's something that she literally is open to changing. Like, I feel like it will speed it up because you're removing yourself from the situation and now she's losing something. And I think people sometimes need to see what they're gonna lose for them to react and respond the right way. Now, this may not work. I know there are some parents out there and some people out there who are just gonna always be homophobic and always wanna say nasty things, but it seemed like your family was pretty understanding to a point that this is your lifestyle. But, it didn't seem like they were trying to really mistreat you. So it doesn't seem like your mom from your post seems like overall is the type of person that wants to mistreat you. So I think if you really let her know that it's something that is mistreating you, it's something that really affects you. And honestly, if she continues to make it a point of conversation when she does that, you're going to exit stage left. You're going to exit yourself from the situation. I think that will put the pressure on her to really, think about what she said. Because I feel like for my mom and my family, and my mom, she didn't say derogatory stuff like that per se, but she did say things that I used to have to check her for. And sometimes she would be like, I didn't even know when I said it, like how much it hurt you, or when I said it, how much it affected you. So I think also just letting people know, communicating how much that hurt you, how that makes you feel, how that makes you feel about your mom when it comes to queer people as a whole. Like, I feel like that will let her know very vividly how you feel about it. So then she really has all of the insight to where she can really think about it to make a better decision next time. So I think that's my advice, is that overall, I think you honestly need to be clear and concise with your mom, be very vivid on how you feel about it, and you definitely using your presence as a negotiation tactic on how you can kind of pressure her to think about what she's saying and to kind of enact that change. But I also think that things like this take time, especially with a Christian family, especially with a Black family. I definitely think it's something that's going to take time. So I think that's kind of the best advice that I have here. So obviously open it up to you guys in the comments. If you guys feel there's a different route, then like vividly speaking to his mom, or kind of taking that extra time to kind of just give his mom some grace and time to kind of be able to adjust, since he just came out a few years ago. Please drop it in the comments. Let me know. I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments what you guys think as well. Okay, the last post comes from Ask Gay Bros, and the title is Realizing Late 30/40s. Anyone here figure things out super late? That you've been avoiding something your whole life? How'd you cope? I'm still coming to terms with it, but I can remember first seeing Trent from 9 Inch Nails in the music video from March of the Pigs, the brown fishnet top and long black hair. I was in a daze, probably around 14 at the time. One of my parents walked in and I immediately scrambled to change the channel from MTV to whatever else. But I always avoided even after that. Even when I was definitely checking out my friends or random guys, I told myself that me imagining kissing them were intrusive thoughts. I tried to come to terms with it in my late 30s and backed up like a coward. Now I'm 42 and doing it all again. Trying to be brave, but full of anxiety. So first off, I just want to say, I don't think there's an age or a specific timeline on when somebody comes to terms with their sexuality or comes out. Or I think it's a very, very individual experience. And I think that we all can have factors to be why we come out later or come to terms with things later than someone else. I remember when I used to go to Palm Springs all the time when I used to live in California, I would meet a lot of gay older men that did not come out till they were like 40 or 50. Some of them were like, I was married and I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. Like, I always had these thoughts, but I didn't really know. And I got married really young and I had kids and I didn't realize until like I literally was like 10 years into my marriage that I just could not do this anymore, and that I was gay, and now I'm gay, and my, my kids are fine with it, and all these other things. So first off, I think there is like no timeline and no right time or right age to know who you are when it comes to your sexuality, and like to know exactly when you should come out or any of those things. I think at the end of the day, society puts a lot of negativity on homosexuality and being gay. So I also understand people who may have issues with coming to terms with that, it could be a long process. It could even take decades. I came up very young, and that's just something I was very firm in, like knowing myself and knowing what I was attracted to very young, and that's me. But I think it could be different for everyone else. And I think you just being able to be honest with yourself and say, I am attracted to men. I've been attracted since I was 14 years old. I have had these thoughts about my friends, about wanting to kiss them and things like that. I think first you are being honest with yourself. And I feel like even putting this post on Reddit and making it tangible and putting pen to paper shows that you are putting the words out there, that you are being honest with yourself. And I think that's the first step. And maybe for you in your mid-40s, and when you really, really realize that this is the life that you want, this is who you are, and you are ready to pursue that. That could be the path for you. So, and I know like I said, I know so many different people that come out at different ages. I came out at 16. My brother came out, I want to say, in his mid-20s. I think he was 24, 23, or maybe like 24, 25 when he came out. He'll have to comment and correct me on that. But my brother didn't come out to his mid-20s. Like I said, I know people that didn't come out to their 30s. I know people that didn't come out to their 50s. Ultimately, I think there's just no time like the present. So I feel like right now, if you want to go make out with a guy, right now, if you want to go sleep with a guy, right now, if you want to go on a date with a guy, do that right now. Like at this point, the past is the past. The future ain't here yet. And at the end of the day, what you want to do now is what you should be doing right now. So I say to any gay man, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever, if you're at this point in your life where you want to finally pursue dating men or connecting with men because you've had these thoughts, you've had these feelings, do it. Same thing for women. If you were married for 20 years and you always had these thoughts, you always had these feelings, and you are divorced now and you really want to go on a date with a girl and pursue a girl, do it. You only have today. You only have today. Today is the only day that's promised. Right now is the only time that's promised. And even the full day is not promised. I think it's so great that people are coming to terms with who they are, even if it's at a later age, and being honest with themselves. But I think the biggest thing is taking action on it. How are you going to continue to make you happy? How are you going to lean into the wants that you have for yourself? Because I think at the end of the day, if that's what you want, that's what you want. And you have the right to pursue that. You have the right to pursue men. You have the right to do whatever you want. And I think the great thing about being older is that you care about validation less. You care about what people think less. So even where maybe you were younger and your family made you want to be straight and made you ashamed and scared to come out, the great thing is when you're older, who cares? Who cares? I think that's the one greatest gift about getting older that I love, and now being in my 30s, you care less about everything. Like, yes, external validation is still a thing, and we always are gonna have some piece of that, but I think for me, one thing I love every year I get older is that I care less and less and less and less. So please share in the comments if anyone has came out later in life, what that feeling was like, what that process was like. Do you share some sentiments with the Reddit poster? I definitely would love to hear from you. Also, what do you guys think? What is some of your advice for him to pursue these thoughts, for him to pursue these feelings he's had for decades? What is some advice for him? I'm still only in my 30s myself, but I definitely feel like, yeah, live your life, do what you gotta do for you. Only time is the present. So guys, this wraps up my first video for Gay Reddit Reads. Hope you guys found it insightful. I'm really looking forward to hearing your comments and discussions and your thoughts or your takes all in the comments. I definitely wanna hear from you. I wanna hear what advice you have to offer. I wanna hear if you share some of these experiences. And definitely just also wanna hear from you on what you think of this new video series. I'm really, really excited to jump back into this content and continue to generate this community and generate this discussion and generate these vibes. So guys, with all that being said, as always, do your best to stay safe, stay positive, and I will see you guys on the next video.